I think an entire book can be written on scent control for deer and the strategies associated, the different strategies, the multitude of strategies for controlling your scent when it comes to deer hunting and trying to fool a whitetail's nose. It's an important subject to me, and it's something that's dear to my heart, I'm passionate about, because with tangling with some mature bucks, southwest Wisconsin, up into the UP in Michigan, southern Ohio, and then working with my clients around the entire country, I've come to the conclusion that it's nearly impossible to fool a whitetail's nose, and to be able to count on something, whether it's a spray, a dust, some type of contraption to control your scent and fool a deer predictably 100% of the time, even 50% of the time, 60, 70% of the time, to where you can actually count on it every time you're in the woods. But I have, and what I rely on is a pretty good scent routine that I feel is effective, and it leads up to the #1 factor for scent control that we'll talk about here in just a minute. First of all, I love clean clothes. It doesn't matter if I'm hunting in public land, my private land around home. I never want to use my clothes, wear my clothes in the truck, always dressing outside the truck, out of Rubbermaid containers, clean clothes, scent-free box, scent-free bag, whatever it might be. Been doing that for many years, since the late 80s, early 90s. Washing the clothes, back then it was in baking powder, baking soda, and then putting them in plastic bags, scent-free plastic bags, and doing about the same. So I've been doing this for a long time. But really what I'm looking at is, I'm dressing outside the truck. I'm using a scent elimination spray. I believe that scent elimination spray does not eliminate the scent completely, the human scent, but what it does is cover it up a little bit, so it lowers the percentage of human scent that a deer might process and smell. Maybe that deer thinks it's from hours old or days old as opposed to half hour earlier when you walk through. Bottom line, I do believe that it works. I've seen some does and fawns, bucks react to that, to where they walk through, sniff your trail coming in. They don't really negatively react too bad. But bottom line, clean clothes, spraying down, using rubber boots, clean boots, not wearing those boots in the truck. And then I'm heading to my tree stand. Now all that scent control effort right there, the reason I'm doing that is I don't want to leave a scent trail in the woods. Controlling the amount of vegetation that you have in and out of your stands, making sure you don't have grass and other high stem counts to habitat that'll actually hold scent like a big sponge when you're walking in and out of your stand. I wonder how many hunts and future hunts are ruined just because a deer smells your scent trail where you walked in and out 3 hours earlier. Maybe when you got out of dark, that buck comes by 3 hours after dark, after it gets dark, and smells your scent trail and takes off. Now when I get to the tree stand, what I want to strictly avoid is I don't want to have to put a backpack down on the ground at the bottom of my tree, get out a bunch of clothes, change my clothes, and then get up in the stand. For one, I want to get up in that stand in case a deer is going by. I want to be up in my stand instead of on the ground. But two, I don't want to leave a big pile of scent at the base of my stand where I just had to get ready and change my sweaty clothes and change out of clothes. Again, I want to get up in the stand. So that's very important to me that I'm getting up in my stand. I'm using moisture wicking, high quality hunting clothes that I can allow my perspiration to dry out against my body within the first hour of the sit. And then I'm good to go for the rest of the day, even on a very cold, frigid day. Now all those steps right there don't take a lot of time. If you're spending an hour on your scent control every time you go into the woods, to me, there's a lot more you need to be worrying about. And one of the main things, the #1 form of scent control is simply your stand location. Where your stand location is set and where you've planned it out, where you strategized, is by far the #1 form of scent control. If you have your stand located properly, you should be able to smell like a pig getting in there. You should be able to smoke a cigar, do whatever you want in the deer woods. If your stand is located properly for archery hunting, you should be able to fool a deer's nose. And I'll give you this example, this stand location right here. This direction is west. West right here, northwest, southwest. If I get any westerly wind in the morning, this wind is going off this ridge. This is a nice ridge top right here. Very defined movement where we have bedding over here, waterhole, mock scrape, small hunting plot in this direction, then big hunting plots up top. This is very defined through here. My wind should be going that way in the morning, and if it is, it's lifting off of this ridge with the morning thermals. As long as those temperatures are changing up till 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon, I can predict count on and guarantee that my scent is completely away from the deer. And even if there's a deer below me that happens to get down at lower elevation, those deer are not going to smell me because of the morning thermals. Morning thermals are awesome because you can predict that those deer are going to go out, their scent is going to go out. There is absolutely zero reason that I should ever spook a deer. So if I have clean clothes coming in and out, and I'm not laying down that scent trail, I get to my stand, I'm not leaving a lot of scent around the base of my stand. I'm actually putting my hands up 5 or 6 feet and then climbing up from there. So even a deer walking by my ladder can't smell where my hands have been. Then I feel very, very low impact that you'll have on your entire stand system. Of course, I want to be clean in the stand. I want to smell, you know, not much. I want to not leave much of a scent. I don't want to blow a bunch of scent. But folks, you know, I'm a lot of times 40, 45 minutes up into a stand location uphill. And if you have the right stand location and you're thinking about where that wind is blowing, then you should never spook a deer. Really never. It doesn't matter what else you're doing, and you shouldn't be spending that much time on it. Now, lastly, morning sit, that wind's going up. Now another factor, I love downwind blockers. This happens to be a mature stand of pines. Very low value for deer. Very few deer sift through it. Doesn't matter, it could be a drop off of a cliff, it could be open horse or cow pasture, it could be a frosted out alfalfa field in late November where there's no deer, it could be an open hardwoods. Bottom line is there shouldn't be any deer down here anyways. I'm accessing through that up the hill, hidden access into the stand. In the evening, as those thermals settle and saturate this area below me, still very low probability that there's going to be a deer down there. And if I was using a scent control contraption, a dust, a powder, a spray, whatever it might be, then in my experience, if that buck is 4 years old or older, then they're going to spook. And it doesn't matter how clean you're smelling. Now, maybe you could argue with me, maybe there's a difference that you found with something, but I found that you can't predict and you can't count on a lot of those contraptions or sprays or powder 100% of the time. And if you can't, it all boils back to stand location. And if your stand location is located appropriately to control your scent, whether it's blowing it downhill into something open, something deerless, blowing it off a ridge top in the morning hours with the morning thermals, then you should be set to be completely scent free when you hunt, and rarely, if ever, spook a deer that's downwind of you. If you've planned and defined the deer movement, if you found that same definition on public land and you hunted effectively, your access is controlled, you should rarely spook a deer because of your scent. And that's number one way to control your scent is your stand location. The other stuff, I take those steps so I'm not negatively affecting my future hunts. But it all wraps up into a complete package of controlling your scent while you're on your deer stand.